this year? Well, the UK Independence Party is going to soon have a new leader. I bumped into the man who should have been the leader, Stephen Wolfe, this morning at Waterloo, actually. Only had time to have a quick chat with him because I was rushing for my train. But, of course, Nigel Farage was the leader for many, many years. Last week we spoke to Liz Jones. We've also spoken to Lisa Duffy. Let's have a chat now with Phillip Broughton. Phillip is a former professional wrestler. I better be careful what I say to him then. But is he enough of a political heavyweight? To fill the shoes of outgoing leader, Mr. Farage. Phillip joins us now. Hello, Phillip.
Good morning, John.
Oh, good morning. I don't want to be rude, but let's go straight in with the first point. I've never heard of you. Most people have never heard of you. How the hell can you be the leader of UKIP?
Well, John, I think this leadership contest is an opportunity for us to stand, put our names forward, put our ideas forward. And I think one of the frustrating things about this leadership contest is that one candidate in the race, Diane James, has refused to do any debates, refused to come to any of the hustings, has acted in a very undemocratic and very unopen way, and has actually shut down the debate. And when really UKIP should be having a massive, open, honest debate about the future policy and the future direction of the party.
She says she doesn't really need to because she's meeting people around the country and everybody knows who she is. I think she's a little bit deluded myself, but she somehow thinks she's the big name, so she doesn't need to have an argument with you and Bill Etheridge and Lisa Duffy, etc., etc. What do you say to that?
Well, what I would say to that, John, is we've got to do some really important things in this party. I think we have to broaden our message as a political party. I think people know where UKIP is on Europe and immigration, but they need to know where we are on the NHS, the economy, law and order, defence, foreign policy. So we've got to broaden our message, but also we've got to change our tone. You know, we've got to understand that the way we say things is just as important as the words we use.
Go on, explain to me what you mean by change your tone.
Well, sometimes I think the way our message comes across, some people can get the wrong end of the stick. You know, certainly if we look at it as an example, when Nigel Farage was talking about AIDS during the general election TV debate, I think a lot of people got the wrong end of the stick with that. What we were really saying is, look, we believe in a national health service, not an international health service. So I think we've got to be careful in how we message our message to people.
But wasn't he right that we don't want to let people into the country who have got diseases like HIV, AIDS, because it costs £1 million to treat them, and if they haven't paid in, why should they take out? Hang on, me finish. I think that was a perfectly valid point you made, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I think the principle is right, you know, that we believe in a national health service, not an international health service, and that, you know, you've got to contribute to the system before you get anything out of it.
So what was wrong then, just mentioning the word AIDS?
Well, I think it's just the way that came across. I think it offended a lot of people.
Why? And hang on a minute, it offended social justice warriors. He wasn't condemning AIDS sufferers to death, he was just saying if they're not British nationals, why should we treat them? Why have you got all upset about that? I thought you were a UKIP member, not a member of the Social Democrats. What are you on about?
Well, look, I thought that was the wrong way to put things. I think what you've got to do is you've got to argue your case in the right way, with the right tone, because at the end of the day, John, what we've got to remember, John, is that a lot of people out there who don't necessarily tune into politics all of the time only listen to certain parts of the debate. And I think that did us a lot of damage. Certainly when I talked to a lot of people on the doorsteps, a lot of people were worried about the tone that Nigel used in that particular debate. So I think it is an issue for us.
But hang on a minute. A lot of people might say what you want to do then is UKIP light. You want to make it bland. You want to sound like every other one of those professional political parties. Is that what you want to sound like?
No, absolutely not. I mean, I'm somebody who's got political experience, I've got real-life experience, and I think UKIP has a massive job in British politics, and that is to end the Blairite politics that has devastated our country for so long. I mean, we've got to be a party that stands up for protecting the National Health Service, stopping the privatisation that was started by Blair, carried on by Cameron. We've got to be a party that fights for tougher policies on law and order. You know, if somebody gets a 5-year sentence from the judge, then they've got to serve the full 5 years.
Where do you stand on immigration?
Immigration, I think it's got to be controlled, but it's got to be fair.
And
I think that Australian... Well, my limit on immigration would be what it's always been. From 1945 to 1997, before Blair got in, immigration never went above 50,000. Now, I think we've got to have a limit of between 30 and 50,000, and we have that Australian points-based system, which treats everyone the same, everyone fairly, everyone equally, and judges each individual on their own skills and talents.
What qualifies you to be the leader of UKIP?
Well, I think I've got real life experience. You know, I've worked on the shop floor in a supermarket. I've run a small wrestling promotion business. I've also got political experience. I was a councillor for 4 years. I was a European parliamentary candidate. And at the general election last year, I got the 4th best result in the country and nearly won the Hartlepool seat. So I've got real life experience and political experience.
Okay, good stuff. Just explain to me then what you'll do if Aaron Banks sets up an alternative party.
Well, I have heard speculation that Aaron Banks is thinking of doing that. But look, what I think is important in this party is who actually makes the decisions. Now, this is a difference between myself and Diane James. Diane James is saying she wants to have an appointed board where the leader would make all the decisions as to who runs the party. I think that's wrong. I think we've got to stay a democratic party. We've got to keep our NEC, but we've got to reform the NEC. So I'm saying let's have regionally elected members so the whole country gets a fair say on the future direction of the party. Yeah. Let's publish the minutes of the NEC meetings so we've got maximum transparency. And let's take the meetings all over the country, every region of the country, and not just having them in London.
What's the point of UKIP? We've got Brexit. What's the point of UKIP?
Well, the first thing I would say on that, John, is Brexit hasn't happened yet. And you know, the way to read it, well, we'll see. I mean, is it going to be Brexit light or is it going to be proper Brexit? I don't think we should be having any compromises on the single market, and we certainly shouldn't be having any compromises on free movement. And my worry is that with Theresa May, you may get those compromises. So we need a strong, effective political UKIP that will hold this government to account and make sure we get Brexit. But as I said earlier on, it's about more than just standing up for the European question. It is about talking about protecting the health service. It is about having a fairer economy. You know, I think we should be raising that tax threshold to 15,000 to help the lowest paid people in our country. But we should also be making sure big businesses pay their fair share of tax. So let's bring in a turnover tax. And also let's have a 30% business rate cut to help our shops and jobs in town and city centres that the Westminster elite have totally forgot about.
Good talking to you, Philip. We'll know in the next few weeks who is the leader. Thanks for taking the time today. Phillip Broughton, UKIP leadership candidate. I think we've spoken to most of them now, haven't we? There's just that Bill Etheridge. Don't know whether